Good day, guys, and welcome to my channel. Okay, so today, Retotilaga Maths, grade 9, determining the highest common factor, how to determine the highest common factor between three numbers using the prime factor method, how to simplify using prime factors, you know, how to determine or how to find out if a fraction is terminating or recurring. Okay, so stay tuned, guys. Now, every expression or every question that I solve, I'd advise you to please pause the video, solve it first, then unpause and see the solution of it thereafter. Okay, now the first question will be determining the highest common factor between the following numbers. Okay, the first number that we have will be 14. Then we will also deal with 154. We will also deal with 28. Okay. Now, let us determine the prime factors of 14. Okay. Now we have 14. Okay. Now, using this method, you are going to use prime numbers to determine the factors. Okay. Now, when you talk about prime numbers, we talk about a number that is only divisible by 1 and itself, meaning that it has only two factors. Sure. Now, we will say the first prime number on the list is 2. Prime numbers, we have 2, we have 3, we have 5, we have 7, we have 11, we have 13. Okay. 14 is not because it's divisible by 7. 15 is not, we have 5, we have 17 and 19. So they continue, guys. These are just examples, okay? Now, these are examples of prime numbers. Numbers that are only divisible by 1 and itself. So 14 divided by 2 are going to have 7. So 7 we can see it's part of the prime number. So we're going to divide it by itself. Then we have 1. So the numbers you see on the left, these numbers here, the numbers you see on the left over here, we call them prime factors. Okay. Now, let us go to 154. Now, 154 is an even number, so meaning that it's divisible by 2. Now, when you divide 154 by 250 and 27, so it's going to be 77. Okay, so 154 divided by 2, you are going to have 77. Now 77 is not divisible by 2, it's not divisible by 3, it's definitely not divisible by 5. Okay, now if we divide by 7, we are going to be left with 11. Now 11 is part of the prime numbers, we are going to divide by itself, then we will have 1 remaining. So every time when you have 1 at the end, that is the end of your solution. Like, you don't proceed any further, guys. Okay, so now let's proceed to the next number so that I can show you how to determine the highest common factor. So now we are dealing with 28. So 28 is an even number, it is divisible by 2. So 28 divided by 2, we are going to be left with 14. Now 14 divided by 2, we are going to be left with 7. Now 7 is a prime number, we have to divide by itself, then we are left with 1. Okay, Now the interesting part is here, guys. Looking at all these three numbers, we must look for the highest common factor. So as you can see, from 14 we have 2 and 7 as factors. From 154 we have 2, 7 and 11. But we are looking for the highest common. So these two are common. So here we are going to take, effectively we are taking like this. Okay, like that. You look for the highest common. So our highest common factor, which is HCF, between the three numbers, it's 2 times 7, which is 14. So 14 is the highest common factor between the three numbers. Okay, so I hope you guys understand this. Now, let us get another question so that you can further understand. All right. So now this time we will have an odd number and an even number, guys. So the previous numbers were all even numbers. So this time we have a 25 and we also have 352. So an odd and an even number. All right. Now you can pause your video, try to solve the question, then come back to the video. So finding the prime numbers of 25. So 25 is divisible by 5. So 25 divided by 5 will be, it's not 25, guys, so it's 125, okay? So yeah, but still, the lowest divisible number is 5. So 125 divided by 5, we will have 25. So 25 divided by 5, because it's divisible by 5, it will be 5 itself. Now 5 is a prime number, you have to divide by itself. Then the final number you get 1. So when you reach the stage where you write 1, that is the end of dividing by prime numbers. Okay. Now let us go to 352. Okay. So 352. Now since it's an even number, it is divisible by 2. So we'll have 150 from 352 divided by 2. It will be 26. So this will be 176. Okay. Now 176 divided by 2, we are going to get 50 plus 34. Is it 34 times 2? It's 38. Yeah. So now we're going to have 88. Now 88 divided by 2, we are going to have 44. So it's still an even number. We divide by 2, we are going to have 22. An even number again, divide by 2, so we're going to get 11. But now 11 is a prime number, so we divide by itself, then we have 1. Okay, so now we are asked, determine the highest common factor. Now when we come to our prime factors here, we have only 5. When we come to this side, we have 5, we have 2 and 11. So these two numbers don't have factors in common because this side only have 5 and this side only have a 2 and an 11. Okay, so we will say the highest common factor between the two numbers is equals to 1. I mean, both numbers are divisible by 1. So this is the highest common factor between the two numbers. Okay, I hope this one is clear. As long as you don't find matching numbers on your prime factors, then it doesn't have a highest common factor. It only has 1 as a common factor between the two numbers. Okay, now let's proceed. Okay, Argonendiano. Uh, now we have three numbers again. Renale 36, Renale 45, Renale 101.62, Renale 162. Okay, now result to Magawa 36 as usual. Okay, now 36 is an even number. We will divide it by 2. Then we are going to get 18. 18 divided by 2, we get a 9. So 9 is odd. We check 3. Divide by 3, it's divisible by 3. So 9 divided by 3, it's 3. And 3 is a prime. 3 divided by 3, it's 1. Okay, now it's 45. 45 is an odd number. We check 3 first. So 45 divided by 3, you are going to get a 15. Now 15 you can divide by 3, you'll get a 5. A 5 is a prime number, so 5 divided by 5, it's a 1. Okay, so 162, 162. So we divide by 2 because it's even. We have 81. Okay, now 81, it's a prime number, it's an odd number, I mean. So it's divisible by 3, then we get 27. So 27 is also divisible by 3. We get a 9. 9 is divisible by 3. We get a 3, which is also divisible by itself as a prime number, and we get a 1. Okay, now the common between the three numbers will be two threes. Okay, this is the common factors. All right, so now your answer will be your highest common factor. Okay, like this. So your highest common factor is equals to a 9. All right. Yes. Highest common factor is equals to 9. How did you get it? 9 is 3 times 3. So the numbers that you circle here, there, and over there, for you to get the factors, you multiply them. Okay. Now let us move to the next question. Mm, Now we have a question like 1 1 7 6 over 504. The question says simplify. Okay, so now your question says simplify using prime numbers. Okay, simplify using not prime numbers but prime factors. Okay, now we're good to go. Now, how do you simplify this using your prime factors? Just like we did before, we take 1176, then we are simplifying it. Okay, it's 1176. So 1176, guys, is an even number. You can divide by 2, then you are going to get 588. Okay, so your 588 is an even number. You can divide by 2. So you'll see your 588 divided by 2 and you'll get the 294. Okay, now 294, is it even? Yes. So how much do you divide with? By 2. So when you divide 294 by 2, you're going to get 147. Okay, now is this thing an even number? No, an odd. So you check the next number, which is 3. Is it divisible by 3? Yes. And then if you divide by 3, how much do you get? 49. Okay. So 49 is not divisible by 3. You go to the next number, which is 5 on your prime list. I wrote it up there. So is it divisible by 5? No. Numbers that are divisible by 5 at the end have a 5 and a 0. Okay. Now it's divisible by the next number, which is 7. Yes. It's a perfect square of 7. So 49 divided by 7, you are going to get 7. Okay. Now that we have a 7, you will see 7 divided by itself, you'll get a 1. Okay, so now those are factors of 1176. Now let's go to 504. Okay, now we have a 504. Sorry, we have a network lag. Okay, now we have 504. Now 504, it's an even number which is divisible by 2. So 504 divided by 2, you are going to get 252. Now 252 even, yes, you can divide by 2. So 252 divided by 2, you get 1, 2, 6. Okay, an even number, yes, can divide by 2, then you get 63. Even, no, odd, yes. Can you divide by 3? Yes, you can. So if you divide 63 by 3, you get 21. Okay. Now is 21 divisible by 3? Yes. 21 divided by 3, how much? 7. Then 7 is a prime, divide by itself, you'll get a 1. Now, what is the highest common factor between the, the, the two numbers? 1, 2, 3, and a 3, 1, 2, 3, and a 3, and a 7. Okay, so a highest common factor here will go like this. This will include this 7, like that. Okay, and here it goes like this. Okay, now remember the aim is to take the highest. So all common factors we find, we circle them. Okay. Now the highest common factor will be 2 to the thirds, because we have 2 times 2 times 2 times 3 okay, times 3, then times a 7. So this one over here, which I wrote as 2 cubed, is a shortcut for 2 times 2 times 2. Okay. Now, what is the final verdict here? So our highest common factor is 1, 6, 8. And to verify this, you can take 504 divided by 168. Then you take 1, what is that number again? 1176. You can also divide by 168 and check how much you get. Okay. So you will find that our fraction in the simplest form, which is 1176 over 504, you divide by the highest common factor, you will get 7 over 3. You understand? So you will be dividing by this over that. Okay. Now let us go to the last question, where we determine if a fraction is recurring or a terminating. Okay, now the question here will be, determine if the following are recurring or terminating fractions. Terminating fractions. Okay, now good. Like that. So our first one, we will have 3 over 35. Now, when we write 3 over 35 in a decimal form, how much are you going to get? Okay, I'm trying here to work with you by all means. So let me try to open a calculator. I don't know if it will work as effectively as yours. Okay, so be patient with me, guys. Now we have 3. We'll have 3 over. Okay, this is the scientific, yes. So not over that. I'm sorry. How do you cancel? Uh, okay, let's see. Scientific, no, scientific is fine to give me most numbers. Okay, how do you clear? Let's see. Okay, now use 3 yet. Hmm. Okay, now we'll have a 3 divide by 35. Then we check our equals to. Okay, good. Now I believe on your screen this will be small. Okay, this is not what I want to do. Yes. So I am trying now to make this thing big, okay, so that you guys can see. Now let us look on the calculator, guys. Can you see that after this 0, this number repeats itself? So if you can see 857,142. The next number is 857142. The next number after that 2 is again 857142. Against that again, it's like a repetition, a repetition, a repetition. Okay. Now at the end of this number, it's an 8. Why an 8? Because it was supposed to be an 8 and a 5. So they, since this number after 8 it's a 5, they rounded up. Then it became a 9 so that they can just terminate it. If you don't terminate it, it will go until infinity and you don't have a space to write that. Okay? So it repeats 8, 5, 7, 1, 4, 2. Then after that, it will repeat again 8, 5, 7, 1, 4, 2 here. After that, again, it will repeat 8, 5, 7, 1, 4, 2. Do you see the pattern of this number? It's recurring by that. Okay? So we will say this is the same as 0, comma 0. Okay? 0, comma 0, 8, 5, 7, 1, 4, 2. Okay, 8, 5, 7, 1, 4, 2. All right. Now, these numbers here, they repeat themselves. So we can say effectively it's recurring. Okay. Now the second number we have 11. We have 11 over 80. So it's 11 divided by 80. So this is the next fraction that we have, okay? Now, if we punch 11 over 80 on our calculator, let's see how much we're going to get. Now we have 11 divided by 80. So this fraction is 0.1375, just like that. So this fraction is a terminating. Can you see now? 0.1375. It doesn't proceed beyond that. So we say a fraction like this is terminating. It terminates itself. Okay? So it's equals to 0.1375. I think that's the number that I saw. Now, okay. So let me just write this number properly. Okay. Now it's 1375. Okay. Now the next number that we have, it's 20 divided by 21. Now let's go to our calculator and see if this number is it recurring or 20 divided by 2, 1. Then we hit the equal sign. So we have 0.952380. 952380. Look at here. Okay. I'm trying to highlight here, guys. Don't please spare me. So can you take a look here on 0.952380. After 80 here, after 80, this thing terminates. Okay, then it's 952380. 952380. So the pattern here is 952380. And what do we call? It's a recurring decimal because it repeats the number from 952380. Then it's 952380. Okay, so it's 0 comma it's 9 5 2 3 8 and a 0. So it's a recurring decimal, this one. It's recurring. Okay, now the last one on our list is 33 divided by 220. Okay, now let's go to the calculator and type 33 divided by 220 is equals to 0.15. So 0.15 tells us that this is a terminating. Okay, so the answer is equals to 0, comma 1, 5. Now, this is our terminating fraction. Okay, so terminating fraction. So I hope you guys learned a thing or two on this video. Until we meet again, guys, please take care.